I see about signing up my daughter for this women's gym? How do I get a hold of it?
Oh, come on now.
I thought there was something you had to fill out here.
Well, there is, but she's gonna, I don't think we have it.
Where'd you go,
They wanted to go.
Florida.
how was it?
What do you think?
I think it was pretty good.
Usually she'll sign up.
People are complaining because it was 60.
Bedroom guy.
Oh, I thought it was trash. 60 degrees at night.
Oh, yeah?
Out walking
They don't have cars.
with a short sleeve shirt, walking my friend's dog.
So nice, huh?
Then we took a week, we stayed. Yeah. On the way back, we stopped in Savannah, Georgia, right off I-95. We take that to 94, turn on the hotel, place to eat. And you're only 20 miles from downtown Savannah. So we went in there and took that bus tour, and we went to Myrtle Beach.
Isn't it nice?
That's what it's all about right there.
So it's ready to order and we'll serve the roll call. Pardon? Oh, okay, yeah. I'm trying to do it from memory. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now.
Supervisor Hawthorne? Here. Council Anthony? Here. Council Greco?
Here.
Council Hagerty? Here. Council Arnold?
Here.
Highway Superintendent Moyer is excused. Deputy Supervisor Ognus.
Here.
Is there a motion to, have you had a chance to look at all these minutes? Most of them are pretty short.
Dispense with the reading of the-
Good.
Make a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes of the previous meetings and to accept them as written. 1/8, 1/22, 2/14, 2/23, and 3/5, all three.
Okay, any discussion on that one? All in favor? Aye. Okay, a couple of announcements. One of them that's very important, that means a lot to a lot of people, is we finally have the rabies clinic. This is Health Department, Oswego County Health Department. They have, because of budget constraints, I guess, have greatly reduced the number of rabies clinics. And we have always had ours the first Wednesday in May for quite a few years, and now it's not until July 16th.
Wow. Yeah.
It'll be here at the town barn from 6 to 8. I expect there will be a good crowd because there's none in Fulton, none in Hannibal.
Wow.
So people need to go before that, and there's one in Scriba in the end of March, one in Parrish in April, Redfield in May, West Monroe in June. So the only one close is Scriba. That's coming up soon. So that will be advertised, I'm sure, a whole lot more, but I wanted to.
Probably in the valley,
We get a lot of questions. We've been getting questions for several months.
Well, we want
You
it,
know.
what, the end of March in Sprider, that's close.
And we usually tell people to come early because if the doctor's here and they're all set up, they start. I had some letters from the retirement system and also from the governor's office about, you know, as we've been reading in the paper, all the governments are looking at big increases in the amount we have to pay to the retirement system. And it will be true for us as well. So,
Is that because of the stock market deal and
yeah,
stuff like
yeah.
that? Okay.
But it's doable for us, but we need to keep in mind we probably will have to appropriate some more money. We already doubled what we normally budget, but it will be a good bit more than that. Now, the letter from the governor's office said he's trying to affect a change in the way the accounting is done that would result in a smaller increase. But who knows where that goes or whether it's, you know, just
So
politics.
what you're saying, whatever we appropriate, it isn't gonna be enough.
Right.
Which
Just
we
to
double.
give you a
on.
little
Yeah.
advance. I mean, we should keep that in mind when we do our planning and spending and so forth. I'd like to remind everyone again that we have a website. It's pretty well put together now. There's a few more things I'd like to polish up on it, but The site is www.towngranby.org. I checked today to see if you could get in it by way of a search engine. I tried Google, and it did have it. You had to be able to recognize it. It was listed under Digital Towpath, which is the program that Niagara Mohawk sponsors. But it's in there, but it's a little confusing because of the .org. People think it should be .gov, which is what we were promised originally, but we don't have it yet.
It's usually .com, but it's,
Well, we're not commercial.
oh,
So, but there's a lot of good information, dates, calendars, phone numbers. All the public officials just about are in there, and a description of what they do and when they're available and so forth. Old business, we've talked a couple recent meetings about doing a study of Route 48 North on our own petition or our own motion, resolution, and I believe at the last work session we decided to go ahead with that, so I did write up a resolution. Our attorney wrote a resolution, sorry. My resolution's mixed up here. I will read it for you. Be it resolved, Town Board of the Town of Granby does hereby agree to appropriate the sum of $10,000 for the preparation of a map, plan, and report for a water district running along both sides of the roadway as follows. Phase 1, New York State Route 48, running southerly from the town of Minetto line to the north end of the present West River Road North Water District. Phase 2, the entire length of Hickory Grove Road. Shall be separate costs for the two phases. Development of water district in one area shall not be dependent on development of another, and this resolution shall be subject to permissive referendum. Okay, a couple things I want to point out. It doesn't necessarily mean we're going to spend $10,000. In fact, at this point, they will start with a feasibility study, which the last one, or the one that they're working on, costs $5,000. So, but we need to have enough in there in case we do end up saying, oh yeah, that's very feasible, and let's go on and get a map and plan and finish it up. And the permissive referendum means that we wait 30 days, see if someone objects, 30 days from the time it's advertised, I believe. See if if a petition is presented to us, which would ask that this go to referendum. But just the idea of spending the money for a plan goes to a referendum. That's what that means.
They have
But
to
you
get
know,
another
we've been-
petition going,
No.
or the one that we've got?
No, that's a permissive referendum. I was just explaining what that means. A person could block us going any farther with this by getting a petition together.
Oh, I see, okay.
to break it, it has to go to what, a total town vote that way?
Yeah, I believe so.
Do you want to
So
put this on the floor? Is that what you
I would
wanna
like
say?
a resolution, well, I would make that resolution.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Okay, I got it. Now, is this like, the first question, remember we got a petition from somebody, it wasn't quite,
This is it.
this
I mean, this
came
is
to those people in that area.
the area, and we looked at that petition. I felt, because there was a substantial number of names on there, it was, the interest was adequate. And I talked to Mr. Summers. He said that he didn't run into opposition. That's what, he told me that he didn't know of any big amount of groundswell of opposition. So I think we should at least give them the benefit of the doubt and move forward.
Okay, I just wanted to know if it was the one with the petition.
Right.
Somebody brought in, I believe Mr. Best brought it in.
Right.
That's the one, thank you.
There were about, it did not serve the purpose legally, but it served the purpose to tell me that a sufficient number of people were interested, that we should make the effort.
Okay.
Any other discussion on this?
Now, well, when are we going to grab this 5,000 to 10,000? We'll get that set aside.
Yeah, we can, I think we will appropriate or move it from another place.
And we got that.
We've got quite a bit appropriated, so.
We did have some of it, so I'm trying to remember.
Mhm.
Okay. Because I'm concerned of that
Right.
other thing we gotta do with the assessors.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Any other discussion?
Nope.
Let's have a roll call vote, please.
Supervisor Hawthorne,
Yes.
Counselor Anthony,
Yes.
Counselor Greco,
Yes.
Counselor Haggerty.
Yes.
Counselor Arnold.
Yes.
Okay.
While we're on that subject,
Pass this and, we will advertise, uh-huh.
and I just want a quick answer. Did you hear anything about West River Road South at all on water?
South,
Yeah.
in terms of what?
Well, I didn't know if you heard something back from them.
Nothing from, other than when I talked to the engineer, he said he didn't think the church was ready to do anything right yet, but maybe in the spring they will be, so.
I haven't heard.
Okay. Also, old business. We have talked at a couple meetings about our building permit fee schedule. And I believe we're ready to move on that one. We have a resolution. We'd like to.
I'll make a resolution, whereas January 1st, 2003, the state adopted amendments to the New York State Fire and Building Codes which will necessitate substantial additional efforts by our local code enforcement officers, including many extras on-site inspections. Be it resolved that the town of Granby adopt a new building permit fee schedule to be effective with building permits purchased on and after March 13th, 2003.
I have a question.
Yes.
I don't understand it.
Oh, excuse me, why don't we second that, and we can
Yeah,
always...
we need a second before
Then
we
we
get
can
into
have questions.
discussions. Do we have
I'll
a-
second it anyway.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, we got to vote on it?
No,
No,
you have
that's
to
what
have
you're
a
supposed
second before you have a discussion.
All right, all new construction, so you're going to charge them a fee for a new construction building, right? Is there a flat fee for a new construction building?
For square
Flat.
footage.
Okay,
Not
by
flat.
footage, all right, 15 per square foot, 10, yes, there it is.
Right there.
And then on top of that, we're going to charge them, on top of that,
Right,
$50 for plumbing, $50 HVAC fuel appliances, $50 for electrical, $30 for septic new repair replacement. So that's going to come to another $180 plus a permit, plus
Plus
Yeah.
the 15 cents a
plus
square
the
foot.
square footage one.
right. In most cases, now there
That's
may be.
kinda high,
There
isn't
may
it?
be, probably not,
That's-
not compared to, you remember the figures we had from other places in the state and we were way low?
Yeah, but
Most places, they said
why
they
don't they
charge us.
just give a one flat permit for a new construction? Why go plus $50, plus $50, plus $50,
Well,
plus $30?
It all came about, that came about because of the new system, they are in effect separate permits for each of these things, and some of these they didn't have to have before.
Plus it may be a garage or something with just electric in it.
Right, there is not necessarily going to be septic, this,
So you want to charge them $200 for everything and only have electric outlets in it.
Well, they got other work here too besides.
and those are other things that people come in and get permits for.
Okay, that's
They are not necessarily,
that kind of sign's a little high for building a new house, and then you're going to get,
well, you know, we looked at some of the numbers and they said in some places it's as much as 40 cents a square foot, and we're talking 15.
okay,
The
okay.
state recommended 21, I think.
Yeah, but that's not what I'm saying is, so you're going 15 per square foot, 10 per square foot. So,
Dave?
Yes.
I'm asking you a question, because Rose has got me confused, and I can't remember when we discussed this. But 15 square foot, what do we come up with for an average square footage for a house today? About 2,000 square feet?
2,000.
So that would mean
$300.
$300, thank you, that's good math. Now, what Rose says, so it'd be $300 for that, and then it would be that extra, if her math is right, $180 on top of that.
yeah,
Yeah.
For a 2,000 square foot
That's
house, so it
reasonable.
would be
That's
$480.
not out of line at all
$480.
Yep.
for what?
per permit to build a new house.
That don't sound out of line in this day and age, $480.
just for a permit. We ought to be happy that they're building in Granby and let them do it.
Well, do you want the other taxpayers to pick up the cost? I mean, we are trying to
I don't know.
offset some of our increased costs.
I'm arguing another case there, there's not this or that wasn't done, that wasn't, but here we're coming up with this. That's fine, I'm just questioning it.
Well, there's a lot more work that's going to have to be done by our codes officers. They're going to have to be out there. We're going to be paying more mileage because there's more inspections. We've already increased their salaries to make up for this additional work. And now we're trying to recoup some of the costs. The other reason for changing the permit fee schedule was not so much to get additional revenue as to make it more fair.
Yeah, I think that was part of it, but I think you just hit the nail on the head. Why should anybody else that lives in the town be picking up a lot of the extra? I'm sure there's a lot of people that are not here that they gotta pay for it, would say, yeah, I don't wanna pay for somebody else.
That sounds like an awful lot.
Well, to me, it doesn't sound, compared to other areas of the country. I know this is
This is Granby.
I know it, and Floyd lives in Fulton, but I mean, I think Fulton's even higher. I forget the numbers we looked at, but
Yeah.
I think when we researched this was about a month or so ago, and I can't remember what we discussed.
And one of them there, I remember we dropped something on one of these,
Yeah, well, we dropped,
a couple of them.
you know, that we
This.
took out the non-habitable and reduced it
There's
to
something in
10.
here that we dropped.
I can't remember now.
I don't understand, somebody's
decks and
building a new
stuff.
house, of course they're gonna put in plumbing, so you're gonna charge them $50 for a permit to put in. And you know they're gonna have electrical, so you're charging them $50 for electrical.
The reason those are separate is because,
I know it's plus,
you know,
I don't know.
the way that it makes
It's a
it
state
sound like
law.
more, but that's because it's a separate permit and they have to have separate inspections. And not everyone who has new construction has all of those things. So rather than add it into the 15 and make it 20 cents a foot, they put it as separate.
Nancy, who lives without plumbing, who lives without electrical
They
today?
have to have it,
Yeah, but you
They
say
have to have an
some
inspection. That's
people,
what
and
the
they
new
have
law
to have
is.
the inspections.
I'm not gonna argue about it.
No, a new state
I
law
just-
come up, that's what I'd say.
I just wanted to know why so.
Well, a new,
I know the
am I
rest of the
correct,
board
Dave? It's like on the new
disagrees.
state law?
Yeah.
You're gonna have all these inspections?
They're separate, in effect, they're separate permits.
And
They were be granted altogether, but
Several years ago, when I upgraded my house, I had to pay for some electrical inspector to come and check the work that the guy did. I forget what it cost me, about 5, 6 years ago.
any other discussion?
You're not building a new one.
Any other discussion? Then let's have a vote. Roll call, please.
Counselor Anthony?
Well, I'm kind of disagree with the plus. As I just said, I disagree with it. I figure one flat
Yes or no?
permit. I'm sorry.
Okay, so you're voting no?
Yes,
Okay, you're voting no.
yes.
Okay. Counselor Greco?
Yes.
Supervisor Hawthorne?
Yes.
Counselor Haggerty?
Yes.
Counselor Arnold?
Yes.
Okay. And I made it effective tomorrow, so might as well get started.
What on the thing?
The fee schedule.
Okay.
Okay, let's get on to new business. Ruth would like to present a situation and a resolution regarding decals, which is the new computer program that the state came out with for hunting and fishing licenses. Would you like to explain what your situation is?
As you may have remembered, we had a new computer installed in my office for this decals program, which is the Department of Environmental Conservation Automated Licensing Service. In order to operate it and not interfere with the rest of the business in the town, especially the fax machine, we had to install a new telephone line so that I could be online with it. This is very costly to the town. It's about just under $40 a month for it. the revenue we're receiving back from decals really is not covering that $40 a month. Because there's only certain months that I sell a lot of licenses, specifically August, the end of August, September, October, and some into November. Therefore, a resolution has been drawn up that the town clerks have approved and forwarded to the state, and they are requesting support from the towns, requesting an increase in the fees that we're allowed to keep, that we would be allowed to keep. Do you want me to read the resolution,
No,
or
would
shall?
you just repeat that last statement you made? I didn't quite hear it.
Okay, we are.
The Town Clerks
The Town
Association?
Clerks Association has already submitted to the state a resolution requesting an increase in fees that we could retain.
Okay.
And they asked the support of the towns, likewise, to submit a resolution to the state.
Okay. Now,
For the
what is
same.
the fee at the present time? Do you know off the top of your head?
Yes, we get 5.5% of resident, of licenses we issue to residents of New York State.
5.25?
5.5%, which on a senior citizen, I sell a lot of senior citizen licenses, I get 28 cents back on that.
Oh,
The
that's,
state gets $4.72 back on it.
how about a non-senior?
A non-resident, we get 1.1%. Now on $100, that would be $1.10.
Wow.
That's not very much.
So I've got 28 cents and $1.10. That's all we're getting?
Well, no, but there's many, I'm just giving you examples. There are many other range, there's a range, a whole range in there of what you would get back.
Sportsmen
But,
or super sportsmen. and all
right, they
that.
have,
They all-
you know, I said a senior, yes, right. We have bow hunting, we have
Okay.
sportsmen, super sportsmen, just deer licenses. And they range anywhere from $5 to about $68 for residents.
Okay. Not to get you off track, so the Clerks Association would like, and you can pick it up from there then.
Would like the state, the DEC, to return to the towns more of this money, that, because they feel we are being shortchanged. And we definitely are.
Definitely, yeah, yes, so.
Nothing for your efforts, which are very substantial at that time, too.
Is this the same for all the people that sell licenses, i.e. the Walmarts and Kmarts and
Right, it's the same.
sporting goods? They get the same percentage?
They get the same percentage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and somebody like Walmart, hey,
One of the differences is that they require you to do it.
We are required to, they're not required
The
to.
stores, if they're not making enough money, they can just not do it.
Not sell them?
Right.
Yeah, I understand. I didn't know if that was just...
You want to continue?
So I have a resolution here, would you
Okay.
like me to read it? or-
Sure.
Okay. Resolution for decals fee increase appeal. Resolution urging the legislature of State of New York to increase the fee retained by municipalities for issuing hunting and fishing licenses under the Department of Environmental Conservation Automated Licensing Service Program. Whereas the issuance of hunting and fishing licenses and stamps by local governments is a valuable and necessary service to the state, and whereas town clerks must be aware of and carefully follow the mandates of the Environmental Conservation Law of the State of New York, Department of Environmental Conservation, in connection with the issuance of licenses and/or stamps, and whereas towns face considerable liability for any failure to properly issue and record such licenses, for failure to comply with all the requirements of the new legislation, and whereas towns must maintain a separate telephone line, equipment, and space as a condition of participation in the decals program, and whereas the state only paid for the installation of such required additional telephone line, but not for the added monthly cost of maintaining such a line, and whereas towns participating in the decals program must now also issue free deer management permits, for which no percentage or fee is returned to the town at all, and whereas towns currently receive no more than 5.5% of fees for issuance of resident licenses and 1.1% for issuing non-resident licenses in compliance with the law and all procedural requirements, Now therefore be it resolved that the Town of Granby Town Board supports the resolution passed by the New York State Town Clerks Association at its regional meeting December 1st, 2002, and urges a unified voice at the legislature of the state of New York pass and the governor sign into law legislation to increase compensation to local governments representing the state with those citizens purchasing licenses under the decals program by 1, increasing the percentage retained for license issuance from 5.5% to 15% for resident licenses, and from 1.1% to 3% for non-resident licenses. Such an increase would help defray the cost of the telephone line service charged to Granby for nearly $40 a month. 2, paying a percentage to the combination licenses and permits issued. 3, paying $1 to the municipality for each deer management permit currently issued free by the towns. 4, establishing a 10% commission to reimbursement to the towns to cover the loss of revenue directly resulting from decals issuance of sporting licenses to town residents. And 5, establish a complaint investigator and information agency or office with the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation as a resource for residents to go to with questions or problems relating to the decals issued licenses. And be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be transmitted to the governor, the attorney general, the temporary president of the Senate, the speaker of the assembly, the minority leader of the Senate, the minority leader of the assembly, the chairpersons and members of the Senate and Assembly Environmental Conservation Committees. Kind of lengthy.
Thank you. Would someone like to, since Ruth can't make a resolution, would someone like to make that resolution
I'll
as she
make it.
read it?
I'll make it.
I'll second it.
Very good. Yeah, certainly is worth the effort. I think it's a shame that we're not even breaking even on it.
Yeah,
We're required to do it. They, originally said, oh, you won't have to have another phone line. And then we did, and so forth, so. Any
Fill that in
discussion?
through there?
Yep.
Oh,
You second.
No. Fine.
Even if we don't get immediate action, maybe sometime, in another year or two, if the state gets in a little better shape, they will consider it. So let's have a roll call vote on that.
Okay. Counselor Anthony?
Yes.
Counselor Greco?
Yes.
Supervisor Hawthorne?
Yes.
Counselor Haggerty?
Yes.
Counselor Arnold?
yes.
Thank you.
That resolution is passed and will be sent to the appropriate people. We have a dealer's license renewal for Ron Koskowski.
I'll make a motion for that.
I'll second it.
All right, I believe that's all been approved and by the constable, so if you can call the roll on that.
Counselor Anthony?
Yes.
Counselor Greco?
Yes.
Supervisor Hawthorne?
Yes.
Counselor Haggerty?
Yes.
Counselor Arnold?
Yes.
And that is, resolution is passed. I have a request from Highway Superintendent. Would like to request permission of the town board to allow the Highway Department to close the town roads to traffic with a gross weight in excess of 4 tons per axle when and if conditions exist to warrant such action. This is a resolution we pass every year.
I'll make that resolution.
I'll second it.
Okay. Any discussion?
Nope.
We'll call the roll on that.
Counselor Anthony?
Yes.
Counselor Greco?
Yes.
Supervisor Hawthorne?
Yes.
Counselor Haggerty?
Yes.
Counselor Arnold?
Yes.
Very good. Okay, county legislators. You're it.
I'm it.
You're in the spotlight.
Oh, okay. I heard that too. That's one of the metal things, you know. Well, I don't have much to say. Basically, I apologize for missing a few meetings. Of course, I missed the last one, so did you.
Yeah.
But we have our new administrator on board now. I don't know too much about him yet. He's seems to be taking a hold. He's been going to all the committee meetings and getting used to the committees and that, and seemed real quiet. I haven't heard him yell yet. I'm waiting for him to yell a little bit so I get used to him. But talking about your retirement, ours went from 3% to 11%, which is one hell of a wallop, as yours is going to be. And we're looking at our 2004 budget already, trying to figure out where we're going to get some money to make up for the money we put into 2003 that we hadn't got. Basically, where our super fund we're supposed to get 1.7 million. We were supposed to get 3.6, but we figured maybe we get half of that and put 1.7 million in our budget for this year, and it's not there yet. You know, hopefully the state's going to come through, but by the looks of things, they didn't put any money in their budget. So I don't know where we're going. Hopefully we can come up with some additional revenue, but like everyone else, you know, revenue's just not there anymore. If you got any questions, I'd be happy to answer what I could, except for Rosie. I mean, she pins me down too much.
Can I ask you one question? I've had some facts, please, from a lawyer in New York City about a tort, change in the tort law. Are you familiar with that?
No, not really.
Well, apparently the county did pass a resolution in support of amending Section 4545 of the CPLR. I guess I want to find out more about it before I...
But
He keeps wants all these letters, and
that one on the youth court?
No.
No, that was just
It was something about,
Court cases are what you get sued for.
supposedly this is supposed to be a benefit to counties and other municipalities.
Tomorrow we will get a presentation of what we had left over from closing the books.
So,
In 2002, we anticipate a little fund balance. Not enough to probably take us out to dinner even.
well, enough to pay for January payrolls, that's about it.
Yeah.
Until you get the tax money in.
But, any questions? No? That's good. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, got a few reports here. We have reports from the dog control officer for both January and February. I guess I'll run through them very quickly. January was 49 complaints, 4 dogs picked up, no dogs destroyed, 6 dogs released, 1 on hand, $71.92 in expenses, 483 miles, $20 in impoundment fees collected, and $15 in adoption fees collected. And then in February, 41 complaints, 9 dogs picked up, 8 dogs released, 2 on hand, $37 in expenses, $316 in mileage, $50 in impoundment fees collected, and $10 in adoption fees. That's from our dog control officer, Gail Kaelin. And I have, let's see what's on the list. Assessors, March 1st was the deadline for the various kinds of exemptions, including the SAR exemption, so they were very busy. We were all very busy right up to March 1st. Now they will have to be processing all the exemption applications. Historian, I have a letter from our historian, Elaine Wilbridge. She goes into several people who requested genealogy information. William Welch, Linda from California, Bonnie Peterson, said Harold was looking for cemetery records for 3 past firemen. Someone called for a house history and said, I'm continuing the reading of the ASA Standard Diary, which still intrigues me. The mention of horse and wagon travel on muddy roads and the severe weather and sicknesses sure does make one appreciate what we have today. Ruth and I had a request from Sam Puglia regarding inland copies and a copy of permit or blueprints of the party barn. And I know that Ruth and Elaine have both worked on that project to find what we did have. I think they had most of what he was looking for. And that was from our historian.
What was the other one, inspection that they had or something?
Oh, the fire
Inspection.
inspections, which of course back prior to 84 or something, they didn't exist. So, but they did find the ones after, from that time
Oh,
forward.
fire way back.
And also he was looking for some blueprints of the party barn, I believe, which he thought might be in with some of the building permit. Planning board, they had a public hearing last night, or something rather, I'm not quite sure what, but they have several projects in the works. Zoning board of appeals,
We've got our regular meeting scheduled for this, Tuesday, 25th.
youth program, we're doing roller skating now, and
I never got a notice on how many kids went to that most. She never contacted me. How many went to the most?
she told me when she came in, it was quite a few.
She never gave
Let
me.
me tell her to keep in touch, better touch with you,
Because
because
they're
Yes,
doing gym and swimming
Because
now.
I called her,
Yeah.
you know, before I
Did you?
called her. Yes, I did.
I'll tell her to call you.
She didn't, I know a few of the,
I think she said around 39 or something, it was quite a few.
yes.
That's good.
Yeah.
I saw it advertised, went through the Old Valley News. saw
I
the
know
ads.
quite a few of the children that went to it. They had a good time, but
That's good.
she never called me to tell me how many.
Did
Okay.
she have a slide party this year with all the
No, she didn't. They're doing roller skating, and they're also just started swim and gym.
But did they start the swimming gym again?
But I heard that there weren't many at the first session, so I don't know how that's gonna go.
With the Y?
Yeah, the why. Maybe it wasn't advertised far enough in advance or something.
Was it, what, it wasn't advertised in the Valley News, was it?
I saw one ad, but I'm not sure. It started on the 1st, I believe.
What are the hours and all? I didn't even know that.
I don't have it in front of me.
Okay.
So,
You know, I-
she's starting to plan some summer events also at this time.
Okay.
Highway superintendent.
Was you busy last month?
No.
It was funny what you said about the youth director, because last year she asked us to pile snow in February for a sliding party. We couldn't find any. This year there's all kinds of snow out there at the community center, so. In February, we plowed on 21 of 28 days, and of course many of those days we plowed 2, 3, or 4 times during the day, depending on how the snow fell. Loader was out in 6 days moving snow banks. We spent 8 days mixing salt and sand to keep on the roads. And the more we run equipment, the more breakdowns we have, so that's kept us busy with a lot of broken wing cables. When you start shelving, you run into that. We've done brake work. We've had broken sander chains, conveyor chains. We had a torque coupling go on our loader, the 1977 loader, and so I was looking for new parts to see what the price would be. And found out they're no longer available, so because it's an old machine. But I found a shop in Batavia could rebuild ours, so we sent it out there and rebuilt it, so we got that back going again. And we've been welding up shoes off the wings so we can reuse those instead of buying new. And had our grader out scraping hard pack because the weather's been so cold there for a long stretch, we couldn't get things melted up. Stop sign down on Prowl and South Granby we took care of. We continue patching whenever the roads are clear because with the frost being so deep in the roads now, it's causing a lot of potholes, and if we get a spell of warm weather, the roads are really going to suffer. And that was one of the reasons for the road
Coming
closing
this
was
week on that
necessary.
warm weather, I hope.
Well, when we get warm weather, I hope it goes back down freezing at night to kind of slow that freeze thaw down. Our fuel costs have been going up all month, just like everybody else's. We bought some diesel in early February was $1.13.5 per gallon, and the last we bought this past week was $1.52 a gallon. So quite a jump in that. some good news on our salt. I don't know if you've heard, but there's been quite a shortage of salt this year. And a lot of towns that didn't sign up early for one program or another had trouble finding it. I signed us up under the state bid program this year because their salt was $23.70 a ton, which is quite a lot less than we have been paying. They reduced the price because the year before we didn't have any winter, so they had huge stockpiles. The year before, I think it was $31.69 a ton. So it was a good savings for us because I've heard the supply and demand now is taking effect, and some places are getting $75 and up a ton for salt. So we hit it lucky there, I guess, and come out ahead. So I guess that's all I have.
You're on the ball, that's why.
Well,
Lynn, don't go away. Did we happen to get anything in writing about Pendergast Road South? Since I come back today, it's the first time I had to use it. I don't know if it's all due to the weather, but boy, that road's really gonna be tore up. It's terrible. I mean, you gotta drive, I mean, it's...
oh yeah, a lot of that has to do with the frost too.
Yeah.
But I'm working with the state on that whole deal with the bridge project. I'm trying to get them to agree to pave it. What they did is they came in last fall, they took a lot of pictures and drove up and down the road, videotaped it or whatever. They're gonna compare that to what happens when I get done. So
All right.
we'll do everything we can to try and get it done, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm just curious if you, yeah, thanks.
Code enforcement, I don't have a report. They're still working on, I guess, getting their computer able to, I haven't seen a report. They've got the program and so forth, but I'm not sure that they've got it ready to give out. I'm looking forward to it. I'd especially like a report from the end of last year. I have completed the final annual financial report, which is a fairly large document that goes to Albany every year. And you all have a copy. I transmitted it electronically to Albany, which is a
Nice, huh?
interesting thing to do, but it came out very well. Actually, it went quite nicely this year, but we didn't get the software until into February, so I had to really focus on it for a week or so there.
This electronic stuff's good when it works good.
Yeah.
I know that.
And we ended the year, and I would like to do a little more analysis, but we ended the year quite well, I would put it that way. Our fund balances between highway and general are almost the same as last year, up $1,800 or so. And so that's a indication of stability, I think, and that's what I aim for myself. Ruth, is there anything else that you had?
We have the second notices for the taxes ready to go out tomorrow.
Second notice, what taxes are those?
The property taxes that have not been paid yet.
Oh, jeez, just gave me I got some more taxes.
I'd also point out and then ask Ruth to put in the minutes that I have provided activity reports for both January and February to the town board. All the accounts are as they should be, nothing is overdrawn. Any board members have any reports on?
The only thing I got, did you ever take care of that problem?
I haven't heard anything from him.
It was all set up before he left. He says, yeah, I'll get over and take care of it. He gave me a price. I can't remember the numbers, $350 or something like that.
For Berwick Community?
Yeah.
Hasn't been got the key that I know of.
I didn't go through the bills. I don't know if you got a bill.
No, haven't seen a bill.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm making note of that right now.
Let's pay the bills. While we're talking bills.
I'll make a motion to approve payment of town bills as audited for abstract 3A-03 in the amounts of $31,793.71 from the general fund, $12,595.39 from the highway fund, and $83.97 from the Will Bob Lighting Fund.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
The big bill in the general is the annual insurance bill. Not all of it, but a big chunk of that. Next meeting will be the work session on the 26th, and then the regular board meeting is April 9th. Do we need an extra meeting for comprehensive plan, or work on it on the work session, or?
Okay by me.
I don't have a whole lot other things planned for the work session, so we
Do it
could
then.
do it then.
Okay.
I think we're closer to the end than we think.
Yeah.
I'm working on that angle of the map.
Yeah.
I read the law. It doesn't say you must have a map. It says you may have this, and this, and the map is one of those things that you may have. So the more I think about it, the more I'm thinking, because once you have it, then you'd have to go back and change the comprehensive plan every time you wanted to change the zoning map.
Right.
That makes no sense, so.
I got, before you jump to something else on it, would it be, don't forget, I didn't get involved in the last one we had, would it be of any value to bring in, not the whole planning board, but some of the members?
Not at this particular point. but
Okay, that's all. Okay.
I think we're,
Well, you said something on the report that you'd like to get some of the public in on it too?
right. But that would be when we do this, the zoning map. And if we don't do it as part of the comprehensive plan, then we won't have to do that right now. But the point is, all this work we've done on that map is not wasted, because we can immediately start working on changing the zoning and the zoning map after we get the comprehensive plan. And then I really would like to get people in, or letters or something, because it's important.
So when the good weather comes, they'll come out for sure.
But that's the thing that people are most interested in, is that map. And anything else?
No?
Have a motion to, oh, any comments? I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.